Well, welcome to Nosco Unpacked again. I'm Craig Curran, president of Nosco. I'm here today with Jim Runyon from HP. So Jim's been with HP here now and taking care of Nosco, and we're just going to have a little chat today about digital print. Jim, where do you live?
I live in Sarasota, Florida.
So you're a hurricane survivor.
Yes, absolutely. It was. I decided to ride one out to see what it felt like, and I'm one and done when it comes to hurricanes. One was plenty for me.
Wow, a lot of damage around your area.
My immediate area took a pretty good beating. I'm pretty close to the water, so it'll probably be years before the barrier islands, Siesta and Longboat, things like that, are back to normal.
And now we have you come up here to see us in good old Wisconsin. What do you think of this weather?
It's tough on a Florida boy like me, honestly. I come in and see you guys, and I get back at it. I love it during the summer. This is a tough time of year to come up here. You may not see me again until spring.
Yeah, I wore my Milwaukee hoodie today, just to remind you that you're not in Florida, right?
I didn't need a reminder, but you have to put that way.
And then I got this is one of my favorite hats, Jim. You know why I like this hat?
I know.
Because this hat is water and snow resistant. If it rains on it, snows on it, it just goes right off.
Fantastic.
It doesn't even spot or anything. And I need that here in Milwaukee a lot.
I can imagine that. But I've always been a little envious of your sense of style. You're always a well-dressed guy.
You like my hats?
I do.
I got in the hat world because of my dad. My dad wore hats when I was growing up, so he got me in the hat business.
That was more of a thing back in the day, but you wear it well.
Yeah, I like it. So Jim, tell us a little bit about you and how you got to HP.
Well, I've been in the printing business my whole life. My dad was in it. I got in it back in the 90s. I owned a small pre-press business. Ended up selling it to a commercial printer. I always been on the commercial printing side of things. And then I ended up moving into sales. Started with HP about 8-9 years ago, and moved into the labels and packaging side, which was a little bit of a transition, but that's exciting. I love.
Now you found the brighter side of printing, right?
No question about that. Yeah, everything. Actually, labels and packaging printers are in generally much better moves than commercial printers. I can tell you that. Just a general rule. Yeah.
And we're in a growing market as opposed to a shrinking market.
Absolutely.
And if you're going to sell to a printer, you should be selling to a packaging printer, right?
I found that out. So yeah, no, I do love this side of the business, actually. Yeah.
And you really, have done both conventional and digital, right? You've got a little conventional print background and now digital.
Sure. Conventional back to the point where I used to be involved in pre-press, where we were stripping film negatives and, doing old scans, color separations all the way, and watched it all evolve. So I have a true appreciation for what digital brings to the table versus the old way of doing things. Even with direct to plate, all the technology that's kind of helped expedite conventional printing, you just still doesn't touch the advantages of digital printing.
Yeah. So you work for Indigo now. Who is HP Indigo? What do these guys do?
So Indigo was a technology company actually that started in Israel back in 1977. They did several things, but in 1993, and this is actually when I owned my pre-press company, they came out with this digital press. It was the first real digital press that wasn't just basically a copier. And it took a while for it to mature, but as it did, it really started making a lot of noise in the market, to the point where in 2001, HP decided to invest in it, bought the company, brought them into its industrial print to fill a gap in that part of their portfolio. And what we do is we manufacture the digital presses, inks, all the supplies for those things for digital printing presses that service general commercial printing as well as the packaging business.
Yeah, so you really have two segments within HP Indigo. You would focus on the packaging side. So you guys make packaging presses to make what type of packaging products?
So on the packaging side, we basically have three separate segments. So we have a 13-inch wide roll-to-roll machines for label printing. We have a 30-inch wide roll-to-roll presses for flexible packaging. And then we have a sheet fed press that we do for the folding carton side of the packaging business. There's a little overlap between the flexible pack and the label presses. Some people do some small flexible packaging on the label presses and vice versa. For the most part, those are your three segments of the packaging.
Yeah, and kind of the ink is the secret sauce here, right?
It is. It's what separates. Our technology. So we have what we call LEP. So liquid electrolithography. We call it LEP because we are all about the acronyms. Starting with HP. I mean, we're full of acronyms out there.
That's what I love about the HP. Not only is really the equipment is great, but the ink system is really strong. It's you got 7 colors available. That's not always available in all the digital ink sets. The ink's really clean. If you test it, it's basically pigment and mineral oil, right?
It is, and it's when it gets right down to at the end of the day, it's carried by the mineral oil. We're basically laminating plastics, which allows us to control our dots in a way that while we can mimic offset by using the same screening technologies, which allows us to kind of match what's going on with a typical offset press, we can control the dots to the point where there's 0 dot gain, and that's where our quality really comes from. Like I said, the ink is definitely the special sauce.
Yeah. So Nosco started with HP Indigo in 2005. Early adopters, 20 years ago. It's 20-year anniversary, actually.
Oh, I didn't know.
The first press was just delivered, if we would look back, a few weeks ago, 20 years ago, and we printed our first order in May of 2005. So this period we're in is kind of our 20th anniversary of digital print at Nosco.
Amazing. I was a director of operations for a small commercial printer in Jacksonville, Florida. I didn't even know what labels were at that point. They were stickers. I had no idea that stuff was done by
all the sticker name. You had to bring it out. Sticker name.
Absolutely.
They're not stickers.
Right. Stickers entertain, labels inform.
Hey, that's good. I like that. Can I use that?
Absolutely. Take that one. No credit needed. I don't know from somebody else.
I'm sure. So we got this whole thing with digital versus conventional, and we've just talked about the HP ink being, some of its attributes, but why do you think digital is a better choice these days than conventional?
So, you eliminate the need for the static plates, and all the setup that goes into this involved there. So basically, and when you've got your static set of plates on a press, or then every single print you make is exactly the same. If you got no flexibility. So with digital printing, you've got the ability to customize every single one come off could be different, which is a value proposition that can be leveraged in multiple different ways. Again, we talked about the quality differences with digital, regardless of substrate, because of the way we control and handle our inks. Color gamut, because we have perfect registration on our presses, allows us to go into extended gamut. So it's beyond just CMYK. We can add orange, green, and violet. We don't have registration issues that preclude that. That keeps us from having to go to spot color inks in order to match brand colors. But with our technology, of course, we can do spot colors if necessary. If we have a particular brand color that needs it, we can go that route, but it's as you know, doesn't happen very often.
And the resolution has really come a long way. When we first got started, I think we were printing like 600 DPI. Then it went to 800 DPI. Then we could do 800 or 1200 DPI. And now we're going to talk about the V12 later, but we can actually print all the way up to 1600 DPI.
Absolutely. And resolution is not is not an issue. Again, from a quality standpoint, you can't touch digital. The other thing that digital brings to the table is you really do have a way to economically produce short run jobs. Because we'd have basically zero make ready waste. And that's a huge deal. So you don't have to account for that. And what that also brings to the table is some sustainability, right? I mean, you have brands now that can order what they want or when they want it versus having to order giant quantities to get the unit cost down, which sometimes leads to obsolescence if you get an ingredient change or something. You got to throw things right away. So we save waste on the front end, and we save a lot of waste on the back end through digital printing. So there's a lot of thought to unpack in terms of the advantages over digital conventional.
Yeah. For me too, when I think about HP, there's other options out there, right? You've got people that sell inkjet. You got toner-based products out there. You're selling this stuff every day. How do you sell against inkjet and toner? What makes the HP process better?
There's a lot of things that go into it. Now, you can start off with the company itself. We are large. We dominate the market, so we have a service and support is extremely important when it comes to digital, any kind of digital printing. So we've got the infrastructure set up to support that kind of thing. And then we go back to quality. Again, our process is a little bit different now. Toner-based presses, again, you've got dust. There's not the control over the ink that we were talking about. From the inkjet side, inkjet has a place, I think, but it's not in high quality labels. It's more on the durable label side. They don't do like we talked earlier about being able to mimic conventional screening on our presses, which allows a print service provider that maybe has some gigantic long runs that are going to run conventionally, and they also need to run some shorter runs, so those need to match. The look and feel of them need to be the same. That's something that we can do on our technology that the other digital presses just can't match.
Yeah, I think for us now, we've been working with you guys for those 20 years, and we got 9 or 10 of your presses across a lot of platforms. And I think if we would tell a customer why we stick with HP, it would just be purely print quality.
At the end of the day,
and then, you guys have supported us well. The service has been great, of course. But I think in the end of the day, we feel like HP print quality is still better than toner, and it's still better than inkjet.
Well, when you go to the trade shows and what I constantly hear from customers, especially when I was a regional guy and I had a lot of net new customers, they would go around. I would encourage them, go look at everybody else. What they would constantly hear is, we're almost as good as Indigo. We're close to Indigo. We're pretty good. We're almost as good as Indigo. Well, that pretty much sets us as the benchmark when it comes to quality.
Right. So you guys make presses for cartons, labels, flex pack. We actually have all 3 of those. What's your favorite? What do you like the most?
It's like I might rather pick my favorite child, but I think at this point, I think I'm going to say flexible packaging. And the reason I say that is because I mentioned before, I was a small business owner, and it was only 4 or 5 years ago when small brands, there was no opportunity for them to get into a flexible bag. If they had, say you've got the greatest recipe in the world for granola, you're making small packages, you couldn't buy 2,500 bags and compete with the shelf appeal of Procter & Gamble and things like this. So these guys would basically buy clear bags and, put a label on the front of it and try to compete. With the advent of digital flexible packaging, these small and medium-sized brands can now do these short runs, and they from a shelf appeal standpoint, they have the same quality as everybody else. And to me, that's huge. The example would basically, back in 2019, we, on our flexible packaging presses, we did less than 4 billion impressions, equal size directions. At the end of 2023, almost 9 billion impressions. Wow. And the vast majority of those impressions and the growth were at the benefit of small and medium-sized businesses. And I think that's something that is close to my heart.
So flex pack's your favorite. Well, mine's labels.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, right. Labels. I grew up in the label business. Our first machine here was a label machine. And then we're going to talk about it, but the V12 just came out, which is designed for labels. And that was a really exciting, change. It steps up the impact of digital for labels, tremendously, huge way. Right? So I'm still at heart a label guy.
Got it.
So, you can't take the labels out of me. That's for sure. So you've worked with us for a while now, and I'm just curious, when you think about Nosco, what's the one thing that comes to mind? What would you tell somebody else about Nosco?
Well, the first thing we alluded to earlier is you guys were an early adopter. You got into it early, but you didn't just get into the technology and just run it like a regular press. I think the word I would think of would be innovation, because you guys seem to have recognized the value, and the culture around here seems to be constantly looking for new and innovative ways to bring additional value to your customers. And you see those in Digital Prime. We're in this beautiful innovation center, so it kind of speaks to it. But you leverage all of the different things that the digital brings to the press. So, invisible links for security. You guys also, I've been on calls with you looking at the higher end track and trace types of things like that. We recently came out with a good usable metallic silver ink, A77. You guys wanted to have it. Bring that to your customers.
You like we saw it too. It really looks nice.
It does. It turned out, this was our second iteration of it. The first time we struggled a little bit, went back to the drawing table, came out with something that's a good product now. So I think innovation and leveraging all of the fringes of all the value propositions of digital, you guys do that better than any of my other customers, really.
Yeah. We enjoyed the digital journey because I think it really helps us meet our customers' needs too. Because being in the pharma business, a lot of our customers have small runs, quick turns, launches.
Sure.
Digital really allows us to do all of that well.
That makes sense.
But we worked on with HP, and we were privileged to be part of the team that helped worked on the development of the V12, and you helped get one installed here and get it started. So the V12, we even have our own V12 label.
Look at this. You guys do a better job promoting that thing.
Yeah, we got our own V12 label printed right on there. Jill, why do you think the V12 is a game changer?
Listen, one word really. I talk about a couple different things, but it's speed. I mean, at the end of the day, it's speed. I mean, that's always sort of been the Achilles heel of digital, and not in a bad way, but it was just something you had to take into consideration. That's why digital has always sort of been pigeonholed, rightly so for the most part, in short to medium length runs. With the V12, the ability to run at 4 or 5 times the speed, regardless of the number of inks that are on the particular job. I mean, it's absolutely a huge game changer. The other thing I would say is the V12, 12 comes from having 12 different inks in the press. So even, changing inks out on a conventional press is a gigantic hassle. On a digital press, it's not nearly as bad, but, there's times that it's still a little bit of downtime. When you strategically place your 12 inks in that press, they can all be interchanged and used without any manual intervention. You should find yourself very rarely needing to find yourself in a position where you have to wash up and take downtime to change ink. So, end of the day, though, it's speed, right?
Yeah, I love it. I like to go out there and watch it run because, with digital in the past, you could actually, sit there and view each frame going by.
Sometimes, reading the labels.
Now, it's like you have to have a vision system. You have to have all the controls in place because the web is moving so fast. And, we used to run jobs 10, 15,000 feet. Now we're running jobs. Just a couple weeks ago, we ran one for 90,000 feet. Today, one's on the press out there for 65,000 feet. So
basically unheard of not too long ago, right?
A year ago,
right?
Unheard of a year ago. And that was really why the press was envisioned, I think, right? And, I think that's really taken digital from short to medium to long.
Mm-hmm.
How's that going to impact Flexo?
I can't see it's going to be good for it. I mean, at the end of the day, in all my time working at HP, we've always sold our label presses as a complementary device, right? I would walk into a conventional printing house and I'd say, listen, I'm not trying to replace your presses over here. I want this to be, there's always going to be a need for those because we're going to have digital here, but I'm going to move some of the work that makes more sense over to here. We're going to make it more profitable. We're going to release some capacity over there. That's not what this press is about. This press is about replacing Flexo, and even some of your older Flexo presses, sometimes 2, even 3 to 1, with the ability to quick turnover, reducing waste, all those kind of things. And when we take this 13-inch V12 model and we move it into the wider format for flexible packaging, there's going to be a time in my lifetime, which there's not a whole lot of that left. I'm an old guy, where you're going to see big time packaging print service providers that are 100% digital, which 4 or 5 years ago, you'd have been laughed out of the room for saying something like that. But I think that's a reality now. So in terms of how it's going to affect Flexo, that's what I see happening.
We're moving a lot of work off Flexo to the machine. We got rid of a Flexo machine as part of the process. We added in the V12. We're not only putting new work on the V12, but we're taking Flexo work and putting it on it. In fact, the 90,000 foot job I was talking about, that came off one of our Flexo machines. We've always run at Flexo. Yeah, we moved that over, right? And ran more effectively, actually, less waste and better quality. But there still will be a role for Flexo in our mind because, Flexo, if we have dual webs, print on the adhesive. So we are going to still have Flexo, but I do think from our perspective, there's now a new level of contribution that digital can make to label production.
And I think when you go to make your next buying decision, it's not going to be, it has to be Flexo, right? There's going to be a real serious conversation now, Flexo versus V12, where in the early days, based on the job mix, you would not even consider digital. I need another Flexo press, where I don't think that's going to be as quite a cut and dry decision as it used to be.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a fun journey. We really just getting out the gate now, and we're seeing the advantages of being able to run on the machine. Actually, I think the machine, the additional DPI gives it a much crisper resolution, even, or it's almost like photographic quality.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is. I mean, again, the between the quality and the speed, this press is an absolute game changer.
We, after we print, we go offline, right, in a secondary process, and we die cut, we varnish, and we inspect. And our people in those processes downstream of the press say that this particular product off the V12 is the best quality product that they work on. That's great. And that includes both Flexo and other digital stuff, right? Yeah. So absolutely. So I think it's got a lot of potential. I'm excited about it, and I guess that's also because I love labels.
No, exactly. I love them too, but it made me pick one, so I picked. Yeah.
Okay. So Jim, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate HP Indigo. We love the print technology. We love the relationship, and we're thankful that we get to move down the digital journey together. So, to our audience, thank you for joining another Unpacked podcast. This is really all about thought leadership on packaging. Today, it's been about digital packaging. Thanks for joining us.